Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the reverse pitch this morning with Pre-Celerator. I have Len Lanzi with us today. I'll go ahead and introduce him here shortly, but I just want to quickly introduce our office, tell you who we are, who I am, and then I'll hand it over to the guy that you want to actually hear speak about his organization and how he can help you out. So just quickly about who I am. So my name is Randall Fink. I work at the Israeli Economic Mission, which is the Trade and Innovation Office here in San Francisco. We have 4 offices in the US, 45 of them globally, and we work to connect the Israeli ecosystem with the US West Coast ecosystem, specifically in our office, and with all the other offices as well. So we work with different corporates, different investors, different event organizers in order to attract investment for the country of Israel. So we're definitely working with your mind and heart and trying to make meetings meaningful for you. So that's ultimately our goal, is to attract investment and create partnerships with the Israeli ecosystem, with the West Coast ecosystem here at Well. And we use that using our warm network. We are in every industry that you can think of, which is relevant for this video as well. So that could be very useful for any company at any stage. We just require them to have an Israeli tax ID, and then we're happy to work with them. Whereas other organizations would probably charge them a decent amount of money, but we're happy to help where we can. But with that, I'll go ahead and introduce our star of the show today and let him take over.
Well, Randall, thank you very much. And I thank the Israeli Trade Innovation Desk for making this possible. I'd also like to thank Julia Rabinowitz with Hawk Media for making the connection and reconnecting me to the Israeli Trade Mission. So welcome from Santa Monica, California, everybody. It's a foggy day here, believe it or not. And so it's a beautiful place to be headquartered. My name is Len Lanzi. I am the managing director of a tech accelerator program called the Pre-Celerator. And if I can, I'm hoping you all see my slide here. I came to this community back in 2007, actually from the nonprofit world. And what I quickly realized is raising money is raising money. It's all about relationships and building relationships before you actually need the cash. And that knowledge and that skill set translated to me running the Los Angeles Venture Association here in Los Angeles for 13 years and building relationships with most of the venture capital firms that exist here in Los Angeles and many in the surrounding communities in Southern California, and then also relationships with VC firms in the Silicon Valley area and New York City. I'm a social advocate, and I'm involved in lots of nonprofits myself outside of my work life. This program is a program of a law firm. We are the venture capital arm of Stubbs, Alderton, and Marklees. We are a full-service law firm headquartered here in Los Angeles. We provide all of the services that are on the screen here, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but we certainly for companies that are coming across the border that need a local law firm, we're here to serve. A little bit about the startup ecosystem. You'll see that, and this data is now a year old, but at the last count, over 1,000 startups in our ecosystem, 33 different accelerator programs, 45 incubators, 57 co-working spaces, 73 investment firms, many consultant, many hacker spaces, and lots of events. And of course, with COVID over the past 2 years, our events have all been gone to the online format, which has probably been a good thing for our ecosystem because it's helped connect people like yourselves to us. It's very difficult to ask companies to come from wherever to Southern California to do meetings like this. So this is an efficient way of meeting. Let's see. So Silicon Beach ranks 6th in the world's best tech cities. That's anything from Malibu down through Culver City and through the airport here in the Los Angeles area. In Santa Monica specifically, we have access to the entertainment industry as being one of the big industries that drive the economy in Los Angeles, obviously. But also, a lot of people don't realize the aerospace industry was probably the industry that put Los Angeles on the map back before World War II, and ramping up and building airplanes and aircraft. Hughes Aircraft Company and Northrop Grumman. Northrop was right here in Santa Monica. And so the remnants of that ecosystem and that innovation mindset translates to where we are today. Venture capital investments in startups continues to grow. And these are 2020 numbers. In 2021, we're going to see even a bigger growth in the number of startups that have taken money. Obviously, unemployment had dropped. It went up with COVID, obviously, but in the tech sector, attracting talent is probably one of our biggest challenges in our communities here, and keeping talent. Knowing that Los Angeles, it's the most number of engineering students in the world with graduate degrees, primarily due to our robust educational and research institutions that are here in Los Angeles, including Caltech, USC, UCLA, and then all the UCs around us, and then all the hospital innovation labs that exist in our community. Wrong direction. So what's the Pre-Celerator program? We accelerate for early stage innovation. We were set up in 2012, and we set that up to really invest into the community and bring our resources to startups that may not be ready for investment, may not be ready for taking on a law firm, but we had some extra space, and we've morphed that into a true accelerator program where we will provide initial capital, legal services, co-working space, mentorship, curriculum, investment strategy counseling, and access to our portfolio of startup companies and services through our firm. As I said, we started in 2012. We formalized the program in 2015. We started providing some investment capital in 2018, and I started 2 months before COVID hit us here in Southern California, which has been an interesting transition, obviously. We just had a demo day this last Thursday. We had 6 companies present. We did that fully online. We have a Meet the VC program, which we now call Investor 360, once a month, where we bring an investor and do a fireside chat with that investor. We have accountability meetings for our teams. We have workshops. We do 2 workshops a month as part of our curriculum. And we have the teams meet together so they can, the magic of any accelerator program is the community we build. And whether that's online or we do it in person, building that community and having founder-to-founder interactions is really important for the growth and success of our program. We have 50 companies in our portfolio. We've had 3 acquisitions. We've raised collectively about $20 million, all the companies that have been part of us. We are focused on serving underserved communities. So 40% of our founders come from underserved communities, and 26% of our founders are female. What do we offer? 6 months of office space here in Santa Monica, right in downtown. A curated list of over 100 mentors. We do provide $25,000 of initial capital investment if our investment committee thinks that the company's ready for that. We also have an option not to do that capital investment. We offer, because we are a law firm, and this is one of our value adds and differentiators, $25,000 of transactional legal services through our excellent team of lawyers that we have here in our offices. We have a customized curriculum, And we have a perks portfolio worth over $500,000 that we negotiate with vendors and services provided to startups. These are some of our success stories that continue to grow. Rent Spree just raised another $3 million. Napkin Finance has been raising money. Voter had an exit. And Needle continues to raise money and find success in the marketplace. Our application and selection process is we have an online application that we use. We have an internal review committee. I do in-person or a phone or Zoom interview with the team. If I think it's something we want to bring to our investment committee, we pitch there, and then we will accept applicants. That whole process from start to finish takes about a month to get people into our system. The terms, we want people here at least 3 days a week with Zoom and online activations. That we're not holding people to that, but we do have workshops and accountability meetings that people have to be part of us. You'll see that if we have an engagement for $25,000 of credit for legal fees. We have a use agreement. We do a background check. And then we do a stock purchase agreement for the initial capital of $25,000. We take a 5% equity share for all of these offerings. If we don't put the capital in, we do it as a warrant for 2.5%. And then we can actually add the capital at any time and then redo the deal. These are some of our alumni that have come through the program. And that's the Accelerator program. I'll be happy to entertain any questions. I'm going to come off screen share because I don't think we need to see that anymore. So if anybody has any questions about the Pre-Celerator and what we do and how we connect people, I'd be happy to entertain that.
Awesome. Thank you for that presentation. I do have a question about how you select companies, or how do companies find you? What leads to that?
Yeah, so a couple of ways companies find us are through our network with other accelerator programs where somebody might apply and it's not a good fit. Through our angel syndicates here in Los Angeles, when they're looking at deal flow and they find that they like a company, but it's just too early and they need some acceleration, they will refer them to us. Our clients do the same thing. Some of our clients have become part of our program because we felt that they needed the learnings that the accelerator brings to their success. And we have an open application process on a system where people can just search for us and apply. At this very early stage, and most of our companies that come through us are pre-revenue companies. And because they're pre-revenue, the only way we really can de-risk the investment is by the people. So the evaluation process is to evaluate the founding team, the founders, see what they've done in the past, their ability to execute, their passion around what they're doing, their expertise and domain expertise in the process. And that's how we choose folks. Right. Any other questions? I'd be interested to learn about some of your companies, since there's not a huge number of people on. If you could just kind of give me your 30-second elevator pitch, I'd love. I have a little bit of a description of each of your companies, but there's no names attached, so I don't actually know who's here except for SkyX. So, Elan, why don't you introduce yourself and give me your pitch for 30 seconds?
Sure. First of all, thank you for speaking about your work today. My name is Elon. I am the CEO and founder of agricultural technology company called SkyX. We build and we market a swarm of spraying drones. The core technology includes both the planning and the autopiloting of multiple drones that can spray a field at once. In a nutshell, we bring two significant values to growers. One is that we just spray at much lower cost than they pay today to airplanes, helicopters, ground rigs, stuff like that. And the second thing is because of the automation, we can dramatically reduce the amount and the cost of the chemicals because we know how to apply chemicals precisely on every spot in the field. We raised some money so far, and we would like to, we start now to commercialize our technology, specifically in California. We just need to finish regulatory processes to do that.
Sure. And just so you know, ag tech is a hot space right now. And there's certainly venture firms focused on that. And people are getting noticed because those are real problems that you're solving. And so I have a deep appreciation for ag tech. So I'm just going to call on people because that's the only way I'm going to get anyone to do this. So Lior, why don't you introduce yourself? How are you, sir?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Thanks for the great presentation. It was interesting to learn about Santa Monica and the environment over there. Although I've been not in Santa Monica, but in Santa Barbara about 25 years ago. So I still have good memories of that area.
Santa Monica is the same as Santa Barbara, except we have
Yeah,
7 million. We have 7 million people around us, where Santa Barbara doesn't have that.
Well, luckily you are on the other side of the world. We are on the other side, and we have almost the same weather and almost the same. So what we are doing, we're developing a technology that actually is trying to change the way we treat type 2 diabetes.
Okay. So that is Baramote.
Yeah, that's Barrymouth. I'm the CEO and the co-inventor, and we are trying actually to move away from pumping pills and injections into people into actually looking at different parameters and controlling it through data analysis and data processing and personalizing actually the treatment. That's the concept.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's see, Israel.
Hi there.
How are you?
Still in the office, yeah. Yeah, so nice to meet you. Thanks for the presentation. My name is Israel Gross, co-founder of Elsama Defense, and we do cybersecurity. What we do in cybersecurity is actually securing all the APIs, application program interface. It sounds like a big word, but it's actually every app you have on your mobile phone communicates backwards as an API. And typically all the data today in the world goes on APIs. And in the last 5 years become a standard for communication. And we have a unique technology that can learn real-time patterns and changes and can adjust itself in real time to secure large organizations from various attacks such as data breach or let's say hacking the system directly through those platforms.
Super. And cybersecurity is also a hot topic and things that the venture capital investment community is looking at very intently because there's a real problems. And Lior, I'm sorry, I meant to mention, the largest sector of innovation in Los Angeles is healthcare and biotech. Most people don't realize that, but it has to do everything with research coming out of our research institutions that are government funded. And that's the reason why there's so much money in this sector. What we don't have, believe it or not, is a lot of early stage biotech investors in Los Angeles. They're up in the Valley or down in San Diego and Orange County. I just want to give you that landscape.
That's a big problem in many other areas. All the VCs are looking actually at later stage. And since we are talking, for example, about the 5 years development,
I understand. I feel that pain. So
people are looking at quick turnarounds.
If we want to chat,
go out, make some zillions, and bye-bye.
Right. Well, if we
medical
have a chance,
technology is a different thing.
If we have a chance later, maybe we can spend a couple minutes, and hopefully, if any of you want to spend time with me,
I'll be happy.
Before the 10 o'clock hour here. I'm going to be good. So I think we have one more person, and it's Yael.
Can I hear Goldstein?
Yes, Yael.
I don't know, for some reason I don't know if you can see me. It looks like somehow it not showing. Do you see my face?
No, we do not. You're in the dark a little bit, but I can hear you fine. So if you just want to introduce yourself, that would be great.
For that, because initially it was okay. Somehow something changed. Well, okay. InnoDraw is a Yes. Okay, can I continue? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry. There is a stage that just a few years ago, we had another exit. So it is our second time now. We had a first exit we had the first exit to Home Depot. We sold another previous company for $45 million. And after that, we started this company, Inodo. Our Inodo is providing solution for the architecture, home improvement, construction, real estate, and property tech, and also interior design. Big problem of measuring and drawing and establishing a mapping of the premises and the job site before they start any design or any engineering stage. It's a lot of time, and it's not always accurate, not enough details. And the top problem is that after all the information was gathered, they need to spend sometime between 3 hours to 3 days in the office before they can start even designing. They're putting all the information together just to have the bare area. So after that, they can populate it with their design. Inodo solving that by combining laser and cloud technology for the measure person. He can shoot with his laser in a very short way. And from that, he push a button, and the designer 2 seconds after that in the office can start design without not doing anything, avoiding not only the time problem, but also the many, many mistakes involved. We are already in a earning stage in sales.
Well, very good. Thank you. That's very interesting. I think construction tech is also an area, while it's not as popular, I think it's just because there's less people identifying problems and finding solutions in that space from a technological standpoint. So
I just would like to add, with your permission, that although we are mentioning a lot of construction, but 50% of our business is still in the home improvement, which is in a very big rise now.
Oh, that's very interesting, because
more than 50% of our business are in regular home improvement. That's why we sold our previous company to Home Depot and continued more or less from the same point.
Okay, and I was thinking the exact same thing when you said that. Home Depot, Lowe's, the big do-it-yourself, stores here in the States. I don't know what exists in Israel in that regard, but certainly there's a marketplace here. So really very interesting 4 companies. Do you all know each other? Or is this the first time you have all met?
First time.
All right, interesting.
Yes.
So I'm glad I made you tell your stories in front of each other, because it's always good to know what other people are doing. And are you all in the same part of Israel, in different cities, or it doesn't, I guess it's not germane to the conversation, it doesn't really matter.
Well, ideas in Israel are contagious.
Yep. Well, I've always been impressed by the innovation sector in Israel. Innovation is the lifeblood of a country like Israel, that you're constantly having to reinvent and find ways to cope in your society and with your neighbors and internally. And I think because of the way the country, at least from my understanding, the way the country's managed, the fact that everybody serves in the military produces great founders. I work very closely with an incubator here that's Israeli focused. And, the founders that I've met and mentored through their program with their military background all come out, not just as great innovators, but great people managers. And that's something that's taught well. And so I have a deep appreciation for it. And as we talk about de-risking investments, doing it with people that can actually execute on a plan is very important. So that's kind of my observation of the Israeli ecosystem and innovation system. So with that, Randall, how do you want to proceed from this point? I think we have about a half hour, so I think I can spend about, almost 5 to 7 minutes with everybody. And if there's a deeper dive that people would like to do that.
Yep. Yeah,
I'll
just the last minute here. We can have our last guest introduce herself. And
Julia. Sorry
Hi,
about that.
everyone.
Nobody
Hi.
knows Julia. I know Julia.
Yes. I have the pleasure of working very closely with Len and the Israel Trade Organization, Randall and Moran. I'm from Hawk Media. We are a digital marketing consultancy. So we're here as resources to any of you that might be looking to break into the US market, anyone that might need any sort of digital marketing help. We're always here to assist. And we, like I said, we've been doing a lot with the Israel Trade Organization and the cohort of companies that they have the pleasure of working with, like all of you. So I'll drop my information in the chat for anyone who needs or wants any sort of marketing consultancy type help, digital marketing. We're here to help.
And I will just say that Hawk Media is one of our preferred providers and partners here at the Pre-Celerator. And interestingly enough, they have a venture arm also. They have Hawk Ventures, and they're very robust in their investments and their early stage, more in the digital media space than an entertainment space, probably than the ag tech or biotech or maybe security would be of interest to them. The cybersecurity. So that's my knowledge of who they are. So I'm happy Julia made the connection.
Likewise. Thank you, Len.
All right, Randall, you're on.
awesome. So anybody here, we have about 20-25 minutes left. So if anybody else would like to speak with Len, please hang on the line, and then I can create a breakout room for you guys. So we'll go about 5 to 10 minutes if everyone joins that. Does anyone have any final questions here for Len while we're all together?
Well, I just want to thank for the great presentation. I'm going to leave, but I want to thank you very much. Really appreciate your time and efforts.
Yeah, Israel, before you leave, is your intent to establish a beachhead here in California or Southern California?
We just registered a company now in Delaware, and we're open-minded. In the United States, exactly where to have location. We have a first employee from Pittsburgh, but we're looking to scale up United States very dramatically. We're putting a lot of efforts now.
All right, very good.
I would love to get in touch with you, afterwards.
I am just so you know my schedule. I am leaving the country on Friday for what I think is a well-deserved holiday. So I will be back. I will be back November 29th, and I'll be available after that. So you have I think you all have my email address. You're all welcome to set up a meeting with me when I get back, and if you want to go deeper than what we're able to do today.
Sure. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Very good.
Bye.
Maybe there is like a short, quick question from my side. You mentioned that specifically due to the early stage pre-revenue types of companies that approach to you, you must and you heavily base your decision on the team, the people, stuff like that. Now, because especially in the 1, 2, 3 first meetings, everybody are smiling, smart, cool, know what they're talking about, and so on and so forth. Other than gut feeling, as an investor or as somebody who meets quite many entrepreneurs out there, is there any kind of, not really a checklist, but very positive signs or very negative signs for somebody who is approaching you as a founder?
It's interesting you asked that. There's some quick things, that red flags that come up that I look at. If someone bounces around from job to job to job, and they're never able to stick with one thing for more than 2 years, how the heck are they going to be a successful entrepreneur? As you know, these things are not something that happen overnight. They take a lot of time, energy, effort, and the timeline on this is not 2 years. The timeline on this is typically 5 to 7, 8 years. So that's one thing. When I see somebody's resume, their CV, I look at what their longevity is in any particular project. And maybe that's a bias of mine, but I think it's a good red flag to use, at least to challenge somebody. Hey, can you explain to me why you've had, 7 jobs in 14 years? And how do you expect to be a successful entrepreneur if you can't stick with one thing? So that's one thing. I also use a tool called a fluency score, which is an online assessment that we have our founders take before we admit them to the process. And that gives me an indication of their readiness, what their skill set might be or what's lacking. And then I can make some real good objective decisions and not just be subjective. So I do have a tool that I can use. I don't use it all the time, but if I think it would be helpful, I'll use it to see where their market readiness is. And the other differentiator I guess I'll use is just, do people understand this, what venture capital and angel capital is? Is this the right format and funding mechanism for them to be successful? Or do they have a lifestyle business that they don't really plan on selling or going public or have some type of exit strategy? If they come to me with that very green and unsophisticated way of knowing about how to finance their companies, they're probably too early. But we recommend, and all of our curriculum and programming is open to the public. So, if I will recommend that they take a workshop with us, or all of our workshops are also recorded. Another benefit of COVID has been the ease of being able to record our programs and then deliver them back to people when needed. So we've built a nice library on our YouTube channel, and that's been very helpful. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, in a way, thank you. What's once again, sorry, what's the name of this tool you've mentioned?
It's called the fluency score.
All right.
Let me see if I can find it and put it in chat. And while I'm doing that, if someone has another question, happy to entertain it.
Lenny, I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
Yes, Lenny, the program, does it require presence of people from the company, somebody from the company, or the company, or presence in the facilities in Los Angeles?
Yeah, that's a great question. And if we were having this discussion 2 years ago, I would say yes.
I just would like to add that our company is registered in the United States, in Atlanta, Georgia, as in operating, and we already hired 2 people over there.
So, I think the benefit of being in an accelerator like ours, and any accelerator, is really the community and the building of those rapport with other founders. Founders learning from founders at similar stages of company life cycles is really important in defining deficiencies in the team, or even personal lack of knowledge that other people will point out in a nice way, but in that collegiality. Now we've tried to replicate that on Zoom, and I will, in full disclosure, say that 3 of my founders right now are not present. I have one in Denver, Colorado, I have one in London, England, and I have one in Dallas, Texas, and that's because COVID drove people out of Los Angeles for a variety of reasons, not all the same reason. Yeah. So we've made do. I would say in best case scenario, though, I would like to go back after the first of the year in 2022 to an in-person, at least a couple times a week, where they would see each other, or at least a couple times a month. So we would have to figure that out. I haven't come up with the solution on that yet, to be quite honest. But what we've been doing for the past 18, 19, 20 months is working. So, I would have to say, I would consider taking a founder on if they weren't here. It's not the best case scenario, but if we think we could bring value, I think we would do it.
Okay, thank you very much, Len.
So
we are.
You wanted to chat a little bit about our project.
Yes, sir.
Good. So
Let me ask you,
Actually-
you said it's
Go ahead.
no drug intervention, correct?
Yeah.
So is this all behavioral?
Well, let me go one step backwards. It all started in Santa Barbara about 30 years ago. It was called adjustable gastric banding.
Okay,
You're familiar with that?
I've
Good.
heard the term. Thank God I haven't had to use it.
Good. What we've done, we've redefined the band as a sensor, looking at pressure events while you're eating.
Oh,
That means that I can know all about the way you eat, when you eat, how much you eat, whatever information I need. It can be combined with any type of surgery. Now, today, obesity surgery is called metabolic surgery, as it was found that it can impact and bring diabetes into remission. Now, the idea is bring the patient into remission, but the problem is long-term results,
right.
and maintain the long-term results through technology. That's the concept.
So this is a sensor that's embedded into the stomach and
Well, it's not embedded into the stomach. It goes around the stomach. It's
Around
the
the
gastric
stomach,
band.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
the adjustable
Yeah.
gastric band, actually, combined with the pressure sensor
okay.
and ability to transmit from inside the body.
And that is a precursor indicator of insulin production or
No. Forget about. We're talking plainly behavioral stuff.
okay.
Because the beginning of obesity surgery or metabolic surgery was to try to change the way people eat through creating a limitation.
Okay.
And
All right.
what
So I
we're doing, we're
misunderstood you.
just enabling it to go further until and be free of medications and diabetes. It can be up to 80% of the patients free of that. We won't call it curing because it's not actually curing, it's the mission. Like in cancer, you go into 5-year remission, which is excellent.
Right.
Here, I
I-
hope
I'm not sure if this is a roadblock or maybe something to consider, but the reputation of gastric band surgery here in the States was.
Well, I'll tell you a small story about it. You remember the Newton
Yes.
that Apple came out? You remember the reputation it had?
Yep.
Now, can you show me the world how it looks today without it? Can you
I
imagine
can't,
the
no.
world without it? Newton actually is each and every one of those tablets, phones, everything. But the reputation had made Apple to take it out of the market because it was too early for the concept. The same thing goes for the band. It was too early because it was actually a I'll call it something that was not totally cooked. Now, if you think of that, when I look at this project and at everything, I consider it like when you're going into a hospital and having a stent placed in your coronaries instead of a cabbage. So it doesn't give you 100% assurance that you're not going to have another problem, that you will not need the cabbage, but it gives you a solution to quite a large number of people that don't have to have their chest cracked and
Right.
open heart surgery, etc. Just a small stent. So use the stent. If it doesn't work, go to mutilation of the stomach and the rest of the things. Everything can be done. But for them as well, because there is a big failure rate, it's about 50% within 5 years. To maintain after gastric bypass the results for 20 years, you will need to change your behavior.
Right.
Then you will need to monitor it. So
Right.
if you combine those two things together, you get a perfect solution.
Okay.
1 + 1 gives 3.
Excellent.
That's
I
my math.
understand. I understand. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? With that, I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn. I invite you to, if you're interested in Pre-Celerator services or talking more about the needs once you get to the States with a beachhead and an expansion, doing that with Randall's office. Happy to be helpful in any way that I can.
Thank you very much.
And Randall, I think unless there's any other questions, I think we've completed our task this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for all the
Thank you
questions here
very
today.
much.
It was definitely insightful and very easy to understand and straightforward as well. So that was definitely great. We had a lot of good questions as well today.
Yeah, the good thing in working with my friends in Israel is they're all straightforward and easy to understand. They're very clear and precise as to what they're doing, and that there's as we say, there's no bullshitting. It's I like that. It's just makes life a lot easier. So thank you all for attending
Thank you very
today.
much, Lenny.
Thank you for the information and thank you for the great presentation.
All
Thank
right,
you.
very good.
Bye.
Thank
Awesome.
you. All right.
Thank you, guys.